Hi folks, welcome to TWD Channel 00. Today I'm in Santa Rosa and we're going to visit this young man's grave. You may know him, very famous. For me, growing up, he was a legend. Robert Ripley. He was born in 1890. He died in 1949. He was born in Santa Rosa, died in New York City, New York. He was an artist, he was an entertainer, and an amateur enthusiast. And also he created the Ripleys, believe it or not. It was the newspaper, panel, TV show that focused on really odd and mysterious stuff around the world. So I got really induced by a really brilliant mod. This is really, one of the reasons I got into like weird things in my life and wanted to research weird stuff around the world from this young man. There was a Believe It or Not series in the 80s. It ran from 1982 on ABC. It was hosted by Jen Valenci. You may know him from the Batman movie from 1989, has a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. C. Slickers from 1991 has a 71%. And of course, C. Slicker 2 came out in 94. It has 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's pretty much, but this really inspired me to be myself. So at the beginning of the 2000s, TBS tried to bring it back. It was hosted by Dean Cain, and it only lasted for like 3 seasons. And but from 2000 to 2003, but Dean Cain may know him from Lewis and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman. That you can watch on HBO Max right now. It has 86 on Rotten Tomatoes, and it aired from 1993 to 1997. So here's a little brief story about Robert Ripley. He was born in 1890 in Santa Rosa, California. But they're questioning when he was born because they're not really sure. But what the hell? Seemed close enough for them. Unfortunately, he had to drop out of high school at 16 due to his father's death. In 1913, Robert moved to New York City. While there, he started the whole cartoon series with the New York Globe. He created his very first, believe it or not, cartoon. Was published in December 1918. The issues got really good response from the readers at the time. So this is a little brief history about the New York Globe News. It started from 1904 to 1923. It merged with New York Sun from 1833 to 1950. In 1950, it merged with the New York World Telegram. Both kept their names during the merger until 1966, when it became the World Journal, but later on it folded from 1987. So this is kind of creepy about his life. In 1919, Robert married Beatrice. Robert later on in the 1930s became an actress who was 14 years old at the time. But the thing was, they were married for, the marriage only lasted 3 months, but they got divorced in 1926. And this is the beginning of when he was traveling, doing this newspaper thing. And didn't have much time for her, I guess. So Patriot Roberts was born in 1905 in New York City, died in 1970, Cambridge, Massachusetts at the tender age of 65. Her movie career only lasted from 1932 to 1949. Peter was in only 70 movies during this time. In 1922, Robert began his round-trip adventures and sending his stories to different newspapers. In 1926, Robert's cartoon moved from the New York Global to the New York Post, and that was in 1926. So during the Great Depression, late 1920s, he was making over $500,000. That's really great during that time. I don't know how much that's worth, but leave the comment section, let me know how much it's worth. At this time, he employed a big, large staff of researchers, artists, translators to help out his oddities. Also, at the same time, he was traveling around the world. So during this time, he started like his own kind of radio show, and also he hosted like short films during his travels. In 1932, he opened his first museum in Chicago. In 1933, he opened a bunch of them in San Diego, Dallas, Cleveland, San Francisco, and New York City. Also, he was voted the most popular man by the New York Post. And he got an honor degree from Dartmouth College, and free fries for him. During World War II, he had to stop his travels because it made it really impossible to do this. Began his travels in 1948. But sadly, in 1949, he began like having really poor health, and he died in May 27, 1949, due to a heart attack. He is rested in peace at the Old Fellows Lawn Cemetery in Santa Rosa. It's part of the World Cemetery. It was found in 1858, where he's with his mom and dad, and his siblings are buried other places around the Bay Area. I'm about to go visit his grave and let you know where the location is. So before I go check out his grave with my friend Matt, waiting for him to show up. So his legacy is very much believe it or not, entertainment company was bought out by the Jim Pendleton Group. It was a Canadian company, one of the largest private companies in Canada. Also, his museums, there's theaters, wax museums. Once again, there's the one in Pittsburgh Wharf that I checked out. And then the next step right now is wait for Matt, and we'll go check the grave. Okay. So after a little search around the grave over here at Santa Rosa Cemetery, we finally found Ripley, believe it or not. I hope you guys enjoyed the intro it did about his life. But you're going to live a life, live like him. If you try to find his grave from findthegrave.com, it's really off, like a mile off. So the best thing to do is, that's like a pulley parking over there. You find the seal right there. There's Matt. You just go straight down on this side, because we entered the other side. It took a little hiking hill, but we got here, right? So really cool grave, really big. But just remember, he's buried in the Odd Fellows section of the grave. And just once again, just find those buildings right there. Walk straight down. You'll find his. He's buried with his mom and his father, and his wife is buried in the East Coast, and I think his son is buried somewhere else. They're like two kids. Who knows? But yeah, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Really cool to check these graves. I encourage you to check graves, find good stories yourself. Bye.